reset and it's on a new stream. I'm not live? I'm not live on YouTube? Nope, it's coming. Hi. Can people see me? I am so sorry. My internet died and I'm trying to get back on. We'll have to see. I'm back. Yeah, sorry about that. My internet completely died. I don't understand why we pay for this. Let's write down what time this was. 7:06 p.m. 6 June. I'm just going to start writing all these down and complaining to my internet company. I mean, for what we pay, this is ridiculous. I am so sorry, everybody. So we'll have to stitch these two together in the YouTube archive later. Thanks to everybody for their patience. This is why I always recommend joining us on YouTube, because usually it'll come back on YouTube, but it doesn't always come back on LinkedIn. So I'm so sorry about that. Yeah, new link. I know it starts a totally new stream sometimes when my stream dies. So I'm just gonna have to, in the YouTube archive, I'm just gonna have to say this died in the middle. Go over to this one to see it, and I can't do much about that. It's when my internet dies. Pier Mario, can you send a note to Tim and tell them again that my internet died in the middle of a stream? All right. So hopefully that question was mostly answered in the last video. Sorry about that, people joining this video. This is a continuation of office hours on 6 June 2023. My internet died. Now we've got a second stream cooking. And I will answer the rest of the questions that we got today, but we got a lot of questions, so I can't take any more. I'll answer the ones that we have. And let's see. Okay, now let's go to the question Kayleen had asked that I know people were excited about. And here we go. I've seen UX people saying that UI skills are being neglected in education and juniors are only learning UX. Posted about this in your Slack as well. What do you think? I didn't think anybody was learning either. That may be a very biased answer. It may not be your internet provider. Today I had issues with everything Google related. No, it's our internet provider, because while I was blipping, I walked over to our modem and our modem was blinking like cannot find internet. So it's definitely us, and it happens to me way too often for what we pay. So back to Kayleen's question. If we take a look at education in UX or UI, I am not sure either of these is being taught well. I can't think of any organization right now, any boot camp, any online course, any bachelor's degree, any master's degree, though I'm going to look at a couple of master's degrees, some ones I hadn't heard of, to see what I think of them, to mention to all of you. But I am not finding ones that I think are teaching UX well. Many of them have tried to change to be more about design thinking, and you all know what I think of that. Though I think I'm not going to be able to set off any of my effects because of the stream reboot. We do have a design thinking effect. Yeah, I can't. I'm not going to be able to get there. So we do have a design thinking effect, and I can't set it off right now. Where is it? Here we go. Oh, it's behind the thing. That's design thinking sucks. Meow meow. Meow meow, design thinking sucks. I'll set that off again. There we go. Meow meow, design thinking sucks. So I don't think UX is being taught well anywhere that I've heard of so far. I look forward to hearing that it's being taught well somewhere, but I'm not seeing anything good. So the idea that we're seeing people posting that everyone's being taught UX, but they're not really being taught UI. I don't think anyone's being taught UX. they might not be, they're not, probably not taught UI either. I think we're at the point where people are not being taught fundamentals, they're not being taught best practices, they're not being taught the things that I and other people learned many years ago. They're mostly being told, learn Figma. Well, if that's all it takes, I don't need a course to learn Figma. So I think we're all going to have to look very carefully at courses we're thinking of taking, because very often these courses aren't teaching us any of these things. Unless anyone can think of an amazing course that really did a great job teaching UX foundations and fundamentals, or UI foundations and fundamentals. So I think this is not our problem. But then we have another problem that we're not even talking about, which is our education's broken. We know that. But even if we fixed it, what job are we preparing people for? If UX or product design jobs are mostly order taker and just make the Figma screens that a product manager decided we're making, what education do you need to prepare you for that job? You need to use Figma. So I think that we have a larger problem, which is our education stinks and the job stinks, and none of this works. It's all broken. So I think my opinion on this almost doesn't matter, because it's just all broken. Sorry, I don't have something more sunny to say. Okay, here is a question we got before I lost my internet connection, and it says, hello. I would like to the how. Probably there should be a no in there. I would like to know, how much difference is there in research activities done by a product manager from a UX researcher? Basically, Kayleen has a follow-up question. I don't understand what UI skills they're referring to. Sometimes, well, best to ask them, but sometimes when I've seen people talk about UI skills, they might mean color theory, typography, iconography and semiotics, so use of symbols. Those are some of the UI or almost old art school stuff that people used to learn. And certainly accessibility. That would be my guess, but best to ask these people, posting this crap, even though it's unfortunately going to lift them in the algorithm. But, if you don't understand something someone said, you might want to ask them. I can't even guess, but that would be my guess. I guess I can guess, but I might not be right. Okay, so back to this new question. Hello. What roles and responsibilities should a PM take and a UX researcher should take in a typical project? So should is really the operative word here, because we definitely have different companies doing things different ways. There are some companies where what a product manager does and what a UX researcher does are very different. They don't really overlap. We did a show last night on product management. So person who asked this, please go see episode 189 in our live stream podcasts playlist here on YouTube. And don't forget to subscribe. Oh yeah, I'm pressing subscribe and nothing's happening because I had to reset my internet. So what should happen? Well, what should happen is, if we're going to have two roles with two different titles, then they should have two different sets of tasks and responsibilities that don't overlap, that are clear. So it would be best if a product manager did product management, which, as we learned yesterday, is some project management. It's a lot of stakeholder management. It's a lot of coordinating different people and different teams. It's some decision making and product strategy. And we've got UX researchers who should mostly be doing UX research and some product strategy. So there's a little overlap there, in my opinion. That's the way it should be. In general, I don't like to see product managers trying to do UX research. If they don't have a background in UX research, they're often doing it badly. If they have a background in UX research, they might do it well. Okay, it is what it is. These jobs are overlapping at some companies. I also wouldn't want to see a UX researcher try to be a project manager. UX researchers are busy enough, and they may or may not be good at project management. So I don't want to see these two roles come together, but they are at some companies. Nothing I can do about that. We just have to acknowledge that it exists. So to me, these roles could and should be separate. It sounds like product managers have more than enough to do without having to be responsible for an entire full-time job, which is UX research, which very often is done by specialists with master's degrees or PhDs. And so this is not just something they can easily do well. They can certainly try to do it, but very often they're not doing it well. Ana Lucia says, I still remember the PM that said her work was done after hours because she had too many meetings. Yeah, they can't even get their own work done, let alone someone else's full-time job of being a designer or a researcher. So I would recommend that companies still keep these separate because they are full-time jobs that are already overworked and stretched thin. Most product managers feel overworked and have too much to do in their day, especially being overwhelmed with meetings. And many UX researchers have more work than they can handle. They're often allocated to more than one team at a time, and so they have to juggle the needs of multiple teams, which is nearly impossible to do. We should really have researchers dedicated to teams so that they can get the research work that they need done without having to wait. So that would be my answer there. Okay. And we have a similar but different question that came in just before my internet died. And the question was, hello. At product strategy level, how UX will help to define product proposition? What UX approach be the right way? All right, so the way that I take this question, and I don't know if the person who asked it is still here because our stream died and it restarted. So if you're here, please feel free to add more to this question. But it sounds like, what can a UX researcher or designer contribute to product strategy? Or how can they collaborate when product strategy is being worked on or determined or decided or changed? Now, the long answer to this question would be my new book, which I'm going to have to hold up because my effects have died. My new book is called Customers Know You Suck, and you can find it online. You can find it at cxcc.to/CKYS, lowercase. So my new book goes into super great detail about this type of thing, but if I had to give you a shorter answer, knowing that our show only has about 10 more minutes, yeah, Solomon says UX is strategic. When done right, UX and CX jobs and tasks are strategic. We should never be just the tactical pair of hands making the screens and drawing boxes or whatever people pretend that we're doing. UX should always be strategic. I am planning a show possibly probably not later this month, since I'm going to be going on another travel adventure, but maybe July, about a slide that I wrote after my book that talks a little bit about how we know when we haven't worked from the right evidence. And I think a lot of product strategy right now, often, not all of it, but often is not working from the right evidence. Our evidence or data are usually a survey that told us people would like a thing, which may or may not be true. Maybe we have some customer support complaints, which are usually reliable. We might have a stakeholder who says, let's build this cool thing, which might be a total guess. This is usually the evidence we're working from, and that becomes our product strategy. But sometimes we don't even have a product strategy. We just have a list of features, and the features and our priorities keep changing because no one has a strategy. When the priorities keep changing and everything feels like we're throwing stuff at a dartboard, we don't even have a strategy. We don't have a short-term strategy. We don't have a long-term strategy. So in order to be more strategic, we have to look at what is the business trying to accomplish, and what are our users and customers trying to accomplish, and then how can we strategically plan how we're going to solve users' problems and make things go well for the business at the same time. You want the win-wins. Now, I'm not sure I can get fast enough to my effect. Oh, I have to find it on my screen. Not scientific method. Here it is. Okay. So we all want this. I know you can't totally read all these words on this background, but mostly just know we all want customer satisfaction. We want customer attraction and adoption. We want to have a strategy that is going to bring new customers to our company because of this improvement or this feature or this innovation, or we're really solving a problem for real people. Again, when you start with problems, it's a better way to go than we're going to build a feature. That's a longer answer. Then we have customer satisfaction, super sad face. If we are not making customers happy by solving their problems, understanding their needs, building what makes sense to them, then congratulations on making a thing, but it sounds like you weren't particularly strategic about this. It sounds like you just made things because it looks good and sounds good to make things. So we have to make sure that we're making things that truly satisfy customers, not minimally viable, not, oh, it'll be good enough and we'll fix it later. If you're saying it's good enough and we'll fix it later, you know it sucks. You know it needs fixing. And then we've got customer loyalty and retention. We want to keep people. We want them to stay with our company. We want them to grow with our company. And how that's going to happen also should be strategic. What are we doing for the full customer experience that will make people want to be a customer longer, or even add to the services or add to the number of users? So all of this is supposed to be strategic, which is why when a company says, hey, let's just make a pink highlighter, my question is, what's the strategy here? What problem are you solving? Are you sure you understand that problem? Are you sure this is the right solution? It might not be. How can we take a fresh look at this and make sure that we are being more strategic? And that to me is where UX comes in, because many product managers, not all, but many product managers are not working from the best evidence or the right evidence or the true evidence. And good UX research can give the team evidence they need to make better decisions. And that's where product strategy becomes a little bit more of a collaborative thing. Now, that's scary to some product managers. They think, no, I'm the product manager. I make the product strategy. Everybody please back away from my throne. But I think this is where we have to be a little bit more collaborative. It can't be just UX creating the product strategy. I know we'll talk a little bit about this on Friday's critical thinking stream. It can't just be UX coming up with product strategy. It can't just be an engineering lead. It can't just be a product manager. We all have to bring our different perspectives to what this product or service will be and how it best serves our users, and making sure we're not guessing where possible about what will best serve our users. So that would be my long answer there. I hope that question helps. So with just a few minutes left, thank you again to the people who came back to the second stream. Hopefully you've subscribed on LinkedIn, on YouTube, and hi Ian. And you were able to see that we restarted. So again, best to join us from YouTube. Let's take a look at what's coming up on the Delta CX calendar, which you can find at deltacx.com/links. Tomorrow is what we like to call group therapy, which is where we get together in Remo, not here in YouTube, and we are just buddies. We talk about the good and the bad. It can be UX or not UX. It's kind of a little bit of networking, a little bit of human connection, a little bit of UX talk optionally. I know a lot of us talk and think about UX all day, and sometimes we just want to chat with a friend. So that is totally free. You're welcome to join. Before that, earlier in the day, I'm going to be doing an updated version of my impact map stuff that I've done on the channel before. I'm doing it again for the nice people at UX Prussia, and that will be, it's totally free to join. I don't have a link for where to sign up, but Google for that. So it's UX Prussia, which is UXPRESSIA, hashtag not sponsored. They don't pay me and I don't pay them. But I'm doing about making your impact maps more customer centric. That's 5 p.m. Italy time. I hope at the end they'll give me a recording and I can add it to the channel here. Wednesday and Thursday night, I am taking a course for all of you. I am taking a course that I personally don't need, and I'm going to see if it's good for any of you. I have to admit, I don't have high hopes for it. I just looked at the LinkedIn of the person who's teaching it, and it looks like they've never worked in UX a day in their life. I'm concerned about that. But if they teach good things in good ways, I'll recommend it. And if they don't, I will recommend against it. The end. So I'll talk more about that after I go through it. So we'll have, so tomorrow is community hangout in Remo. It's not on YouTube because we don't want to broadcast our personal problems, and it's not recorded. And then Friday we'll do critical thinking stream. Oh, good, Ana Lucy, I'll see you there. And also for some people who said they'd like to practice their English, the community hangout is a good time there because we are speaking English. So there you go. Come practice your English. And then next week will be, Monday's show will be the quadrant exercise that I keep talking about. And people said, make a show just on the quadrant exercise. So that'll be Monday. Tuesday is office hours with Dr. Nick, and I have to check that he's still up for it. And then the rest of the week I'm speaking at a conference. So there are no other shows the rest of next week, just Monday and Tuesday. Thank you to everybody for joining today. It was so good to see some of you again. I really do miss you when we don't have these shows. I'll do my best to keep up with the shows, even though I'm going to be going on semi-vacation. Fun during the day, work at night. So I will do my best to keep going with the shows, though some of them may be from the camper. Who remembers last year's camper shows? We'll be doing different campgrounds this year, so we'll be in different places, and we'll do our best to keep broadcasting and help you in any way we can. So please subscribe to YouTube. That is the best way to go. Tell friends about the channel. We can use the support. And thank you, Mega, for joining. We do this every Tuesday when possible. Please note, I am taking a new job. I know some people might have questions about that. I am taking a new full-time job. I'm not saying too much about it yet. I'm extremely excited about it. We're still preparing the paperwork. It is not all signed and wrapped up, so I'm not saying too much about it, but I will be working remotely for a company in Arizona. That means we're going to have to move all these shows. So all of the shows will be earlier once I start my new job, because this will overlap the key part of the Arizona day. Thank you, Ana Lucia. I'm very excited about it indeed. So hopefully that will start in the next 2 or 3 weeks, and shows will be at all weird times. So make sure you're watching the calendar or the live events channel in Slack or Discord. Yeah, Matt says exciting. It is. And remember, even though I do full-time jobs, I still do Delta CX. So we still take on projects. We still take on consulting work. We still take on training. We still do all those things. And I make myself available as much as possible. I stay on all the projects. And then I just bring in some of the low-ego action heroes to work on the projects with me, so that you're not waiting for my availability. So we've got a great team at Delta CX, people from around the world who are really good at what they do, like Kayleen and Karen, who's not here today, or at least hasn't said anything yet. And Ralitza, who I will be seeing next week since I'll be speaking in the Netherlands. So yes, even though I will be working for Rizzle, Delta CX is still a thing, and I would still love to train your companies and speak at your events and so on. So I balance the two. Meow, that's right. Yes, please hire us and you'll still get the Debbie Kayleen team plus other people. All right, I'm going to play us out of here, and I will, let's see, now I lost track of what day it is. I'll see people tomorrow at Group Therapy, which we jokingly call our community hangout. Thanks to everybody, and have a great day or night. Bye. Customer centricity as business intelligence. Visit deltacx.com to learn why we are